On this episode of IGN's Esports Stories presented by the original Nissan Cup Noodles, the top 8 teams battle it out in group stages for a ticket to BlizzCon. Team USA must go from underdog to champion and prove themselves against some very tough competition. The 2017 Overwatch World Cup group stage took place in China, Australia, Poland, and the United States. Luckily for Team USA, they didn't have to travel too far, as Groups G and H competed in sunny Los Angeles, California. Since this newly formed team didn't have a lot of time to practice together, they relied heavily on strategy and the home crowd to punch their ticket to BlizzCon.
One of the interesting parts about this year's Overwatch World Cup is that due to the committee system, some of the teams that were representing their nation were actually full teams coming in.
This was not the case for the US roster. In fact, these players were drawn from very different teams across the country who played very different styles.
The amount of love and support we got was absolutely insane.
There were so many fans with flags and people with body paint and people actually rooting for us hard. I've never experienced anything like that.
I think the crowd had a major role in our performance because whenever we would play well, they'd cheer and scream and they were pumping us up and kind of demoralizing our opponents.
Going into the group stages, the underdog Team USA would have to push through New Zealand and Brazil only to face off against the heavily favored Chinese Taipei to have a better seed in the playoffs.
Going into the group stages, we were all confident that we were going to make it out of groups. We did our research on the teams, we knew what they were going to bring, and we knew how good we were. We also had the edge of being the underdog.
What stood out to me when we watched Team USA versus New Zealand and Brazil was just how strong this team was.
Basically, against New Zealand and Brazil, Team USA vastly outclassed them in terms of synergy and even individual skills. So those matches weren't particularly memorable because it wasn't much of a struggle, it was more of a slaughter.
I think we came together and synergized as a team extremely fast compared to other teams, and I don't think they expected that.
That synergy, that teamwork, and also the willingness to adapt or the willingness to compromise was very important for this US roster.
So with Chinese Taipei coming in, I thought they were going to win that match. Again, we're looking at a team with a lot of synergy, familiarity, and ability to play on this patch and demonstrated success.
The reason why people thought that Chinese Taipei would have a big edge on Team USA going in is that Chinese Taipei was a full competitive team before being chosen to represent Chinese Taipei.
To prepare, we actually spent most of our time looking at them prior to the event. We really kind of crunched into their weaknesses as well as prepared for their strengths. I think that really gave us the winning edge against that team.
T-Bar ticking away, and the US will claim first place.
It was those 2 early matches as sort of a leading indicator that put people on notice saying, wait, Team USA could actually not only beat Chinese Taipei, they could cleanly get out of the group stages and go to BlizzCon.
After passing the test against Chinese Taipei, the US scored 3-0 against Germany to qualify for BlizzCon.
I was definitely hoping to see the Germans produce a better result, but they were completely outclassed. The US took them to task very quickly.
It was our last match to qualify to BlizzCon, and we were lacking a bit of energy because we waited 6 hours to play. But when the crowd was hyping us up after that first map win, and we could hear them while we're playing, it fired people up.
It felt amazing knowing that we punched our ticket to BlizzCon. It was like a dream come true.
Winning a match like that is honestly it's an amazing feeling. You get a dopamine rush. We were all jumping up and hugging each other and cheering. And
you have a team like the United States, which is both an open book and a blank slate. We've seen what they're able to produce, but again, we haven't seen too much of them being pressured.
One of the challenges for Team USA going into BlizzCon is that Overwatch, of course, is an evolving game. And right now we are going through one of our largest meta shifts ever, where significant changes have been made to the heroes in the game. And the version of the game that's played at BlizzCon will be different from what was played in group stages.
One of the most important things for the US in preparation for the World Cup is that they needed to come together early, rehash what worked well for them, and also take a very close look at where the current meta sits, how their strengths and weaknesses fit this roster, and then make informed decisions to move ahead.
On the next episode of IGN's Esports Stories, Team USA will have to face a familiar adversary at BlizzCon 2017. Will they beat the odds, or will South Korea once again dominate the competition and become back-to-back champs?